Hey, what is up guys, welcome to the BTD6 update 20.0 video, and boy, this is a huge update. We waited quite a bit for this one, but the wait was well worth it. Tons of new content, we got a new hero, Etienne, the drone operator, a new Odyssey mode, Expert Odyssey, in which once monkeys are placed, they're used up. They're gone, you just can't use them anymore. So if you start with 4 ninjas and you place 3 on your first map, you only have 1 left for the rest. That's gonna be a crazy one, but I'm really looking forward to it. We got a new map as we get in every update, we got a new skin for Admiral Brickell, tons of new stuff in the trophy store and tons of balance changes as well. As you guys can tell, there's a lot to go through, so let's get started. Before we go any further, I want to say a huge thanks to everyone that's been out here supporting the channel. We gained over 500 subs in the past month, and I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you being here. If you're new here, I upload the advanced challenges, Odyssey guides, chimps guides and hidden achievements, which, by the way, there is a new hidden achievement in this update, so there's one more reason to subscribe. Let's talk about the update now. So first off, the elephant in the room, or the drone operator in the room, called Etienne, I think. This hero is so fun to play, it's crazy. The hero himself doesn't attack, but he flies a drone that chases bloons while they are inside of his range. While most of his levels are just upgrades to the drones, them getting more popping power and their number increases, there is one level upgrade that is really cool and makes this hero that much crazier, and it's his level 8 ability, which makes all monkeys see camo bloons. That's insane, all monkeys, no matter where they are placed, they get camo detection. This hero might be a good fit in Odysseys, especially on extreme ones, since you can keep reusing your heroes but not your towers. So instead of getting a couple of villages, for example, to provide camo for your towers, you can just get at the end and just have him give camo detection to all of your towers. His level 3 ability is called Drone Swarm, and he calls in 4 more temporary drones to do some more DPS. The drones have dart projectiles, meaning they cannot pop lead balloons, no matter how much they get upgraded with levels, so extra lead popping power or a village might be needed. His level 10 ability is called UCAV and is surprisingly weak. So weak in fact that it cannot beat a single BFB. And at level 20 it becomes permanent, so his damage gets a huge boost, but activating the ability makes the UCAV plane that much stronger. Still not strong enough to beat a single ZOMG while it's active though. Next up, the new map called Mesa. It's an advanced map, the balloons come from 2 sides, so from the top and the bottom track, and there are a total of 3 removable objects here in the middle, where most of our towers will be placed, and removing the obstacles costs $500 each. As usual, I will be making a black border guide for this map, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And let's quickly check out the new Brickell Skin. It's a pirate themed skin and it kinda reminds me of the Merchantman for some reason. I think my favorite part is her level 10 ability, this huge barrel with a giant X on it. Just some cool Ninja Kiwi artwork as usual. Let's check out a few of the new stuff in the trophy store. I bought a couple of them, but I don't want to show everything, so let's just stick to the ones that are the best in my opinion. The new balloon skins, which are the Sci-Fi BFB and the Steampunk ZOMG first. They both look awesome, they are definitely my new favorites among the balloon skins, and I'm especially happy about the new BFB skin because the pizza one was not really a favorite. And next up is the Jones Parachute Drop Deployment, which is a pretty cheap one and looks average to be honest. And original Oben gets a small wolf pet, just like Gwen has her fox pet and Quincy has his dad's head following him around. Now onto the balance changes, and starting off with the dart, the enhanced eyesight and crossbow projectile speed got increased by about 20%, which might not sound like a lot, but you could definitely feel the crossbow being ineffective versus fast balloons, so this is going to fix that problem. Not necessarily making the tower be used more, but rather just fixing something that should not have been a problem in the first place. The damage type on the Spikopole got changed from Sharp to Shatter and it can damage frozen balloons now, and it got a little bit of an attack speed buff. So if you're saving up for a Juggernaut, this is going to make it a little bit easier, I guess, but still the Juggernaut is a niche upgrade and I don't expect anything to change around the Dart Monkey. Next up, the bomb shooters. The tier 3 Moab Maulers were just way too good, so their ceramic damage got nerfed from 5 to 4, but the Moab Assassin and Eliminator damage to Moab class bloons got increased. So they do far better versus Moab class bloons and are not as reliant on their ability to do damage to Moab class bloons now. Also, the really big bombs upgrade got a damage increase from 2 to 3, which might be significant since it's a cheap upgrade and it can be used as an early to mid game DPS tower now, I think, without having to upgrade to Bloon Impact or Bloon Crush. 3-2-0 bomb shooters might become a thing now. The tag shooter was always a decent tower, but the range upgrade was always inferior to the Pierce one, so they decided to switch the crosspaths up, and now instead of Pierce, the even more tax upgrade increases the damage of the Inferno Ring from 4 to 5, and the range upgrades now give Pierce. So a 4-2-0 Ring of Fire and Inferno Ring are now better, since the preferred crosspath for the Inferno Ring was usually the extra range. I feel like it makes even more sense to get it now. The Glue Gunner is also getting some changes, and I don't really know how these will impact the game, since the 5-2-0 crosspath was useless because the Bloon Solver was getting a lot of Pierce from its 5th tier upgrade anyways, and they decided to kinda slightly rework the way this functions. So they made the Bloon Solver now shoot 2 projectiles per attack instead of 1 big AoE attack, and the splash Pierce got reduced by a decent amount. So what this means is that the 5-2-0 now has more Pierce than the old Bloon Solver had, since the total is 18 now, but it lasts for a shorter period of time and it doesn't slow as much since we're missing the bottom path upgrades. So that's why I said in the beginning that I'm not really sure which one is better. If I had to guess, I'd say the way to go is still the 502, the old crosspath, and even though its Pierce got reduced by a decent amount, we can still get some of it back with a primary training village or an alchemist, but let's not rule out the 520 yet. The Sniper Monkey got a little bit of a buff. It's just a slight buff, as they say it from Ninja Kiwi, so the basic tower got a fire rate increase from 2 seconds to 1.6. So the basic tower is a little bit better now, but the faster firing and even faster firing upgrades got nerfed by 5 and 10% respectively. And I'm not sure how this impacts the other upgrades. I assume they remain unchanged, even though it's not mentioned in the patch notes, so I expect the 0-4 and the 0-5 snipers, for example, to work just as they used to work. Also, the cripple Moab stun and debuff duration rates got increased on Moab class bloons. I feel like the main issue with the cripple Moab upgrade was never what it does, but the price you pay for it, and I don't feel like these changes are going to be significant on it, but it's a step in the right direction nonetheless. The sub-commander finally got its nerf. Its Pierce buff got reduced from 5 to 4, and as they say in the description on why they did this, it's because the +5 Pierce favored low tier towers more, meaning it impacts 203 subs more than they would like to, and since the AP Darts upgrade gives its own Pierce bonus, it creates more of an incentive to go for a 204 instead of a 203 sub now. A buff that I'm really happy about is the Heli Pilot's Razor Roders buff, increasing the area from 33 to 35. Now those are small numbers and I'm not sure how significant it's going to be, but it really was frustrating to watch rounds like 37 and 38 where there are a lot of lead bloons and this guy was just popping them one by one while on pursuit. Also some more crosspath action with the downdraft heli being buffed to blow the bloons at a higher rate, and the Comanche defense is getting another buff with its duration being increased from 10 to 12 seconds. No crazy changes with the wizard, it gets 2 more Pierce from the intense magic crosspath, and the shimmer upgrade gets a price reduction of $100. Now there are better ways to reveal bloons in the game, so it still feels like an overpriced upgrade, but I'm sure it's gonna find its place in challenges and odysseys. The long requested targeting option for the Robomonkey is finally here, and now we can decide which bloons we want them to target. I feel like this is a significant change since the way that this used to work was one of the arms was on first and the second one was on last. Now, while setting them both to first is not possible, it should do significantly better and get a lot more usage in the future only because of this small change of adding a targeting option for the second hand. The Dark Knight got a Pierce increase, it went from 3 to 5, and I feel like this thing might be showing up as a mid-game tower. More Dark Champions in Chimps mode might become a thing just because of this small Pierce buff. Another change, which I'm not sure how it's going to impact the game, is the change made to the Alchemist. So the BTD6 meta has changed a lot throughout the patches, but the Alchemist was always a part of it. And the Berserker Brew and stronger stimulant shots per brew got reduced. And what this means is that a tower that had, let's say, stronger stimulant on it could use it for 50 shots before it ran out. Now that number is 40, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but I feel like this change is mostly going to be felt on ninjas and subs, since they are the default partners to the Alchemist. The top pet now benefits from the middle cross pet, and the shots per brew are back to their original numbers if you upgrade the Alchemist to 420. Also, the brew duration and reapplication cooldowns get reduced if you go for the top and middle cross pads. And I'm not sure which one is better. It's definitely looking good for the 420 Alchemist right now, but we're going to need some testing before we draw our conclusions. The Engineer also got a small buff. The larger service area upgrade now gives a range upgrade to the sentries as well, and oversized nails give the sentries the ability to pop frozen bloons and add +1 pierce. Faster engineering now deploys sentries faster, and the base sentry range got increased for the 4th tier. The 5th tier sentry Paragon's explosion radius scales with the sentry radius as well. And last on the balance changes list is Admiral Brickell. She really was a little bit too good with the sub army, so she gets a duration nerf on her naval tactics ability and a damage reduce on the Mega Mine. I think she's gonna be doing just fine though. So that's it about update 20.0. It really was a huge update with a lot of new content and a lot of balance changes, and we'll just have to wait a bit and see how this affects the current meta. I'm expecting the Alch to get cross-padded to 420 a bit more now. The Glue Gunner should stay the same, the Bomb Shooter might be entering the early to mid game at 320, and our sub and Brickell strats got a small nerf but should still work just fine. What are your thoughts about the update though? Tell me below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.